Across the country, new laws are going to affect this week as we welcome in 2024, from regulating air and water pollution to making clean home upgrades more affordable. Many of the new laws, they actually focus on sustainability.
Right. Andre Delattre is the Chief Operating Officer of Programs at PIRG and the Senior Vice President of the Public Interest Network, joining us now to explain all this. Andre, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. Can we talk energy first? What are some of the new laws that will help people tap into some of that clean energy?
Well, there's one feature of the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed a couple of years ago and provides subsidies to invest in clean energy technology for your home and for your car. Most of those went into effect last year. One important change, one new feature for the federal subsidies this year is that if you're going to buy an EV and you want to get the federal tax credit, which can be up to $7,500, you will be able to get that at the time of purchase, as opposed to having to wait and being refunded when you file your taxes a year later. So that's a nice feature of the law that's going into effect starting this month.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Great.
When you always have to send it back in,
just real quick to follow up on that, is that just for EVs? Like, let's say if I was going to install solar panels, that wouldn't be the same case, right?
It's no, that's correct. Although typically you can find a solar installer who will give you the discount based on the tax credit that you'll get. So that functions already pretty much the same way for most people.
Nice. That's cool.
Now for cars, you'll be able to just see the same benefit right away.
That's great. Nice. How about single-use plastic? This is Jordan's pet peeve, is single-use plastic. He cannot stand it.
Well,
It's a lot of it.
Big priority, yeah, for a lot of states. So how are some of these new laws going to impact the average American in 2024?
Yes, well, Jordan, you're concerned about single-use plastics for good reason. We are creating an awful lot of it. We produce 380 million tons of plastic a year now in the U.S., and half of all that plastic is for single-use applications, bags, cups, food containers, and so on. And that plastic is a problem because much of it ends up polluting the environment. And nothing that we use for just a few minutes of convenience should really pollute the environment for hundreds of years. But that's what happens with all these plastics, because at best, 9% of all the plastic ever gets recycled.
Yeah, and of course the PFAS in that conversation, it's not good for you. It does drive me crazy. Another issue is electronic waste. We throw away hundreds of thousands of cell phones a day. I've got one of those hoverboards for my kids that I'm trying to figure out if I can recycle, because that thing has been broken. So how are some of the new policies helping to mitigate some of the problems with electronic waste?
Well, the biggest thing that's happening in the new laws that are taking effect this week and this year are laws, so-called right to repair laws, that will make it easier or even just possible for the first time for people to repair their electronic devices, their phones. So, if you've ever tried to replace the broken screen on your phone or replace a battery that's worn out, you know that oftentimes it's very difficult, if not even impossible in many cases. And that's going to change for many consumers this year due to new laws that are coming into effect. So the state of New York passed a law that gives consumers more right to repair their electronic devices. That went into effect last week. And Minnesota and California passed even stronger, broader protections that are going to go into effect in the middle of the year. And the impact is really significant. As you pointed out, we throw away hundreds of thousands of cell phones every day. If we just held onto our phones for 1 year longer, it would have the effect of reducing the pollution as if we took 636,000 cars off the road.
Wow.
So yes, it's a really big deal. And the good news is, while that law is going into effect in New York and Minnesota and California this year, Apple has recently announced that they're going to abide by the law for the whole country. So at least for Apple products, and we hope other companies will do the same, you will have the same ability to repair your devices, greater ability to repair your devices and extend their life. and reduce the environmental impact of all of those devices.
That'd be great. We feel good at least about that. We know we're doing one thing right. Jordan and I have very old phones. We never get them.
I still have the button.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's talk about California and Illinois doing more to protect the waterways. Could 2024 be a new, another revolution when it comes to clean water in America?
Well, hopefully. There's a few clean water issues that are very much in play right now. One is that there's federal money available for states and localities to get more serious about getting lead pipes out of the drinking water supply, which is a major issue and we need to make progress on quickly. The EPA just last week set a new timeline to get all of those pipes out of the water supply within the next 10 years. That's one issue. The other issue that hasn't happened in the states yet, but we're hoping will this year, is the Supreme Court in recent months, in a decision in the Sackett case, weakened a substantial part of the Clean Water Act that protects waterways. And several states have greater protections that are overriding that Supreme Court decision and the federal law there. But more states should pass laws to better protect their waterways and wetlands.
Hopefully that will happen. Andre Delattre, thank you so much from the Public Interest Network. We appreciate your time of discussing new laws, and maybe that inspired some people at home to take action.
Thank you very much.
Cool stuff.